high five.
Inside the 10, head first, he dives inside the 5-yard line. Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line. Davis gets 19 and McCaffrey with a 19-yard reception. And Terrell again for at least 19 and more than that. Inside the 10, touchdown Denver. All week long, Marty Schottenheimer talked to his
Manning out of the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
Nothing wrong with Orange and Blue podcast.
What's up, NRW crew? Hello, Broncos country, and welcome to the newest episode of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast on MHRT Network. I'm your host, Johnny Baki. I'm really happy to see you guys. It's been a rough week. We'll get to that. It's been a rough 4 weeks. Let's just be honest. It's been a rough 4 weeks. We're going to get to that. But first, I'd like to remind you, and thank you again for coming in and being with us today. Be sure to not miss the rest of the shows on MHRT Network, okay? On Tuesdays, we have Broncos Talk with a 6'10" Mexican and Richie Richey, our brother up in Canada. On Thursdays, we have MHRT Podcast. I had a major brain fart there. That was weird. We have the MHRT Podcast, the flagship podcast with Mundungus Creevy, Mr. Boggins, Glenn Mile High Fiber Hauser, and a 6'10" Mexican. Those shows also go live on at 7654 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. All right. Please don't miss them. Also, do not miss our pregame show, The Neighborhood, which goes live approximately an hour and a half before every game. Don't miss it. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. That way you know when we go live so you can join us. Now, real quick, you might notice that I am sitting alone right now. So we were getting ready for the show, and Isaiah, my partner in crime, he's my best friend. He's my co-host. He had not been feeling very good the last few days. He suddenly got really, really sick right before we went live. So he asked me if I could hold down the show, and I said, absolutely. It was kind of a last-minute dropout. He did not have a choice. He literally took off to do his thing. So I would like to introduce our special guest host for the show today. I'm really excited about this because it wasn't planned this way, but it's kind of exciting that it's happening. So if you will, please join me in welcoming from Mile High Sports, Mr. Zach Segars.
Hello, everyone. I feel like I need some walk-up music with that kind of intro. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate it. It's good to have you on the show. I know you've been on MHRT before, just never on Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue. So it's really good to see you on here. And
happy to be here.
You know, you were going to be our guest today, but it's kind of cool having you as the guest host today, holding down the fort.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No problem. Always happy to fold in, talk some Broncos, and yeah. I mean, not a problem at all. I do this a lot, so always happy to help out.
Well, we couldn't be happier to have you, brother. So it's been a rough 4 weeks, Zach. Let's just be honest. It's been painful to watch. I mean, honestly, yesterday I kind of came to a point when someone was, in the group text with the rest of the guys in MHRT, when we're all talking, I literally came to a point where I literally texted, I have no words. I don't even it's almost to a point where I don't even know what to say anymore because it's just so bad.
Absolutely. I'm with you there. It's been really bad. I think I came to the realization after the Raiders game. So the Browns game didn't hit me um, quite as hard, but yeah, this team has given up on its head coach. I think it's a lot easier, a lot more difficult to swallow if you view the team from the first 3 weeks and the team from the last 4 weeks as the same entity, because they're not the same entity. This team is not beating the Jaguars by 20. This team is not, beating the Giants by 20 until a garbage time touchdown. They're not beating the Jets by 26. If they played any of those teams, I might pick those teams to win, even if it was at Mile High, much less on the road. If they went and had to play the Giants in MetLife right now, I would happily bet on the Giants. This is a bad team. When you give up on your coaching staff, it doesn't matter how talented you are. And they still have a lot of talent. Like
they do.
Draymond Jones and Shelby Harris and Justin Simmons and all these guys, they didn't forget how to play football. They're talented football players. They've still got years of their prime left. They didn't just all suddenly coincidentally fall off a cliff after week 3 of this season. Something's happened. I'm not sure exactly what, but it sounds at the very least like Fangio's lost the locker room. I think it's safe to say.
I mean, that would be understandable. I mean, It's plain and simple. It's
profound sadness.
It's gotten to that point. And I said it in the article that I wrote this last week before the game. I said 1 loss is understandable. 2 losses is concerning. 3 losses is and now we're at 4. And it's to a point. You want to point the blame at one spot, but where you really can't.
Yeah, and I think there's 2 parts to that. First, you can't really point blame at one spot. At first, that is very depressing, and it is very scary for obvious reasons. Because if everything's broken, that's a serious problem. I think, the optimist in me would say, if every employee in a company looks bad, if every employee under one manager rather is looking bad, maybe the problem isn't that every single employee is bad, but that manager is really bad. And I think that's hopefully, again, this is all hypotheticals and projections, and those are so frequently wrong in this industry. But I think the hope is when you see all these players playing bad, and it's weird too. Again, they all dropped off at the same time. They're players that hypothetically had years of their prime left. It's not like they're all 35 or something. And they just suddenly stopped.
Because this is still a relatively young team.
Yeah, relatively young, and even the defense, which is veteran, like, okay, Kyle Fuller being a disappointment. Maybe that's age, right? But like Justin Simmons is 27, 28.
27, I believe.
Yeah, that's more questionable. I would say, I don't know. I think, and then you hear stuff about Shelby Harris and Vic Fangio getting into shouting matches at practice, and
Shelby Harris isn't that kind of guy. Like,
I mean, he's fiery, but I don't know. He's not like, I think there's a lot of players that are important voices in that locker room that do not get along with Fangio at all. And I don't think there's anything that Fangio is going to do now to win them over that, when he hasn't won them over in the prior 2.5 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the way we've been playing the last couple of weeks. Like, we might rally at the end, but it's too little too late. Like if he tried that,
And that was the other point, because you're saying, hey, 1 loss, that's one thing, 2 losses, that's another thing. It's also the teams they were losing to. They were losing to teams that are also in the playoff race and teams that were vulnerable. You get if you are actually in the playoff race, you are contending for an AFC wildcard spot. That from the beginning of the season, before the season started, short week on the road in Cleveland, that's a game you have circled. That is a scary game. And then you get blessed by the Browns disappointing early on. So they're 3-3. That makes them less competitive in the wild card race. That's a gift. 2, they're incredibly injured. They are incredibly beat up. that is a gift, because it took a game you had no business winning, even when the Broncos looked like a quality team, no business winning, and it made it a feasible win. And they didn't take advantage of it. The prior week, you have a Raiders team also in the playoff mix. They win that game. They're tied for the division lead, despite how bad they've looked. The Raiders were in utter turmoil that week, and the Broncos couldn't take advantage of it.
They lost their head coach.
Exactly. They played the Steelers and Big Ben, and Big Ben's totally washed up, and they made Big Ben look great. The Ravens, they put together a game plan that it really shut down the Ravens' ground game, and they still got absolutely lit up. You can't, when you face vulnerable opponents like that, and the Ravens weren't necessarily vulnerable, but I don't know. When you face vulnerable opponents like they have the last 3 games, and you're not even competitive, I don't know. There's just the record is so false. They're a 1-6 caliber team, even if the record's 3-4.
It's been sad. Let's jump over to the comments real quick. We got a bunch of our NRW crew, MHRT family in the house. Mobad's in the house. Sup fam. Mark from Georgia. Mark Langley. Sup Mo. Talking to Mobad there. We got Avatar in the house. What's up, Broncos country? I hope the Broncos find a way to break out of this funk. Dave Glassman, burn it down. It makes me so sad when I see the guy I call Full Glassman being so defeated by this right now. It kills me. We got Shadow Jacker in the house. He's stunned that no one's been terminated yet. I mean, I am as well. I mean, I kind of felt like it was coming, but it hasn't. And, it's kind of shocking.
I think the argument against it is you've still got 2/3 of the season left, and there's not like the exciting guy, like, hey, let's see what this guy's got up his sleeve. There's not, Mike Munchak, does he excite you much as a head coach? Again, I think they should do it because Fangio's lost. Exactly. Fangio's lost the locker room, and you need someone who hasn't lost the locker room. So I think they have to get a new face in there. But it's not stunning to me they haven't done it yet, because there is there's 11 weeks left. That's a lot of time for an interim coach to manage a team. And it's an issue.
Right. So we have let's see. I saw somebody else. Okay, we got Vic here saying still love my Broncos. We are in agreement, Vic. Like win, lose, or tie, Broncos fan till I die. Period. I mean, it's rough. It's rough to see. But the true fans, we stick around regardless. I mean, we've stuck around through Josh McDaniels and Vance Joseph. Okay, like we've done that, so we can hold fast and stand strong through this. And we've got the boss man Mundungus in the house. What's up, boss? We have KB82 in the house. Kenny Booker saying, how do players fight for a coach who doesn't even care about his players' well-being? I mean, I think it's an excellent question, because it doesn't seem like he really does.
Well, that, and then also like the players did not buy in on the Ravens thing. And I think maybe that was the moment that lost the locker room. Maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't like everyone was on board before that moment and then everyone was off afterwards. But yeah, when people did not care about the Ravens running it there, especially because the Broncos have done similar things. And I'm not too hung up on how Fangio cares about player safety. I think he really does care about it. I think you can see him trying to make off-season practices lighter to try and acclimate that. I do think he cares. I just I don't know. I think their respect is more related to doing things like looking woefully ill-prepared for a Steelers game, or not holding himself accountable, or not holding Tom McMahon accountable, or not holding Pat Shurmur accountable when the players are like, it is clearly these dudes' fault. Because players aren't dumb. Like, I think us as fans have, because we are so disconnected from the players, we have this mindset of, I don't know, we think they're thinking different things than we are. They have access to more information than us. They're seeing everything people are talking about. They are in those meeting rooms. They know Tom McMahon special teams has underperformed for 3 years, and he's faced zero consequences, zero retribution for those failures. They know Pat Shurmur continues to put out uninspired game plans and then refuses to take accountability for it. Like, look at Sean McVay. From year one, when everyone was like, this guy's coach of the year, they'd be like, man, the defense kind of had a blown coverage. And he'd be like, that's on me. I did a bad job this week. I didn't get him ready for that. You know, that's how you got to coach with modern players. I don't know. It's
Well, I mean, that's how you have to be a leader anywhere. I mean, me and Isaiah and Mundungus, we're all veterans. We all served in the U.S. Army, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I had a lot of bad leaders over my 8-year stint as a soldier. I had some really bad leadership that never took accountability for their mistakes, because I mean, as the lower enlisted grunt, our job was to do what we were told. That's what you were there to do. We always got told you're not paid to think. You're paid to do what you're told. But I always had these officers above me that would not take accountability or any kind of responsibility for mishaps. They would find everywhere else to put the blame. But then I did have a few leaders that would fall on their sword. That they were the kind of guys that were the first one boots on the ground, last one to leave. And they were the kind of guys that would stand there and be like, hey, it's on me, man. And I'm gonna say right now that the respect that me and my fellow soldiers had for those leaders, I would have followed some of those guys straight to the gates of hell, knowing I would not be coming home. Just simply because of his integrity that way. And that's the kind of leadership you have to have if you want to lead any kind of organization, especially one that is built on such trust as a pro football team.
Absolutely. And I think to that point, Teddy, I think there's a lot of people unhappy with his quarterback play, which, I don't fully disagree with. But I think no one can really criticize him as a leader, and how everyone everywhere he's been, from Louisville to Minnesota to New York to New Orleans to Carolina, now to Denver, all of his teammates, all of his coaches love him, and with good reason, because he's an incredible leader. And after that Raiders game, I thought he put it perfectly in an interview with Dave Logan of 850 KOA.
The voice of the Broncos.
Absolutely. After the game, Teddy said, after a win, you love to point the finger at teammates and say, hey, look at them. They did a great job today. But after a loss like this, you need to point the thumb at yourself and say, I didn't do a good enough job, and you need to, continue to step up and improve. And that's the kind of thing that has been lacking from the coaching staff since day one. I don't think they ever I shouldn't say ever. I think they've done it occasionally. Kyle Fuller being a good recent example. They don't often throw players under the bus, but it's always like, oh yeah, that has to be executed better. It's hollow platitudes.
Yeah, they try to remain kind of neutral in it all every now, but every now and then you definitely get it where, I mean, and rightfully so, because let's be honest, even since the beginning of the season, Kyle Fuller has not been what he was touted to be coming here.
And holding players accountable is a good, like Bill Belichick holds guys accountable, but you have to be consistent. I think, I can't remember who I'm citing here, but some former NFL, might have been Michael Lombardi, I think. GM who's been around the league a lot, during the Urban Meyer situation was talking about that and said, in the NFL, you can be an asshole. If you're a head coach, you can be an asshole. You don't have to be liked by the players. That's kind of the
language, sir. Language.
With Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay and all them. But you can be an a-hole in the modern NFL. You just have to be a consistent one. You can't be an a-hole to, I'm trying to think of, you can't be an a-hole to Tyree Cleveland and let Cortland Sutton slack through practices. That hasn't happened. That's just a random example. But you got to be consistent. So I think Fangio holding some people accountable not to say that they shouldn't be held accountable, but holding some people accountable and then making excuse after excuse after excuse for Tom McMahon to make himself look good. Because it's not about saving Tom McMahon. It's not like they're super, super close. It's about, man, if I'm throwing Tom McMahon under the bus 2-3 weeks into the season, that just makes me look awful for keeping him around. And so I think in that sense, accountability has been lacking. And again, these players are smart. They know what's going on even better than we do. And if they're like, wow, you're holding our feet to the fire, but you and your other coach buddies are not getting critiqued for not doing a good enough job. That's the kind of thing that turns a locker room. Am I gone?
Hey guys, not sure what's going on. I'm just logging in here in my car because Johnny wasn't there. Let me see if I can
Let me in.
back in here.
Hey,
Yeah.
I got us. I can hold us. I can hold us up.
What happened to Johnny?
He must have gotten frozen. I don't know where he went. I thought the problem was on my end, so I left, and I think that compounded the situation. Oh my God, Mark from Georgia. Don't even start that. I'm glad I have a whiz on here so we can discuss this. Text me. Don't assume I know your whereabouts at all times, and I know what you want to do if you're available for drinks. Drop me a line and go,
you were
Zach.
hanging out with Bree, and we had just been hanging out with Bree, and we invited Bree, and she's like, "Oh, we're hanging out with Zach." It's like, excuse me?
So why didn't you come through? And why is Bree not getting crap for this? Why am I the one getting crap for this? I did nothing wrong, and I maintained that. You know why I was hanging out with Bree? You know why I was hanging out with Bree? Because she went, "Hey Zach, want to get drinks?" You know why I wasn't getting drinks with you? You didn't do that. It's not on me when you're in town. Reach out.
I do not know what's going on. See?
Oh, now we've lost your audio. So I think that's preferable.
I got you.
I
got you. Johnny's trying to call me. I'm not answering.
I don't know where Johnny is, but yeah. What happened, Mark from Georgia? Good question. Johnny went frozen. He's gone. I've taken over fully. Isaiah was sick, so he couldn't hold it down tonight, and now Johnny's gone. It's the Zach show.
So now I'm sitting here in my car in a Walmart parking lot, and like, I better jump on my phone. But no, it's so kind of going back to the 4-game losing streak. I mean, we haven't seen a 4-game losing streak since what, 2019 with Flacco? It was the beginning 4 games.
No, I don't think it's Flacco bad. Here's the thing with Teddy. It really bums me out. He has the most unfair play to criticism ratio, quality of play to criticism ratio of any post-Manning quarterback. Like, we were standing Trevor Siemian. We were standing Kyle Sloter. I had to deal with 10 months of trying to convince people that Drew Lock was not actually good at football when any metric showed that he objectively was bad at the sport of football. I had to deal with 10 months of it. Teddy, in his first 3 games, if you isolate Teddy's first 3 games, they're better than any 3 Drew Lock games in his career. In 3 games, Teddy did more for the Broncos than Drew Lock did in 18. Has it been bad since? Absolutely. He's not part of the solution. He should not be the quarterback for next year. He's not great. But he deals with so much criticism for this team being bad, and it's like, it is not on him. He's like person number 37 on the blame list. It is he's like Case Keenum, and I don't think we were this harsh on Case Keenum. He's getting like the Joe Flacco treatment, to the point of your question. He's getting the Joe Flacco treatment. And like, Joe Flacco was I'm worried that me swearing is part of the reason we got bumped. But
That's
Joe
why
Flacco was a jerk. Yeah. I'll say Joe Flacco was a jerk. He had a bad attitude the whole time. No one liked him. And that guy was critiqued just as harshly as Teddy. I'm not saying Teddy has been a great quarterback, people. I see people losing their minds in the chat. Does he deserve criticism? Absolutely. 100%. Does it make me a little uneasy that we're critiquing him more than we ever critiqued Trevor Siemian or freaking Kyle Sloter? Like, especially when he's the only black quarterback of the bunch, it's uncomfortably fishy for me that he gets so much criticism compared to his level of play. He's been not good, but like the 20th best quarterback in football, and the Broncos haven't had anyone being a top 20 quarterback in 6 years. So I don't know. That's my soapbox.
I was getting ready to dip out again, and then Johnny froze. So
No. Here I'm back. Look, hey. So I want to apologize to everybody. I'm not sure what happened. Internet, like, for the whole house just went down. I looked, and there was an outage on the map for just a couple minutes there. I'm not sure what's going on with my internet service. Technical difficulties that I have zero control over. Shut up, Mike. I did not hit the red button.
Look, my name says Mundungus Mobile.
I know, yeah. I would not pay for a cell phone from Mundungus Mobile, not in my life.
No,
anyway.
But I do have a question for Zach real quick while I'm still on here. So we're on a 4-game losing streak. The coaching is terrible. Is it a seller's market, a buyer's market? Do we try to fix the team by the trade line, or is it just deal with what we got and try to figure it out?
I think you got to be a seller's market. This team, like, it's done. I'm telling Broncos country now. Like, strap in. This team's given up on the coaching staff. That's why they're bad. In prior years, again, I think that's part of the Teddy thing too, going back to that point. In prior years, the quarterback was limiting the Broncos. This team would not be good if, like, obviously they'd be much better with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Obviously, let's preface it with that. But they would not be a good team, or I think even a competitive team, not because Rodgers would be bad or whatever, but because they don't believe in the coaching staff. If your team has given up on the coaching staff, talent matters so little. You're going to be a bad team. So, and like, is Mike Munchak getting into the head coaching chair and all of a sudden this team's competing for a playoff spot? Like, no, it's over. It sucks. It sucks because after 3 weeks we were all riding high. Another point. Yeah, those 3 good Teddy games did come against the bad defense. Locke played bad defenses too, and he looked bad against them. That's the difference. Moving along. After those 3 games, things looked great. And now it's the realization that they're just not even a contender. Like, if this team played like they are right now, I think they'd be lucky to go 2-1 in those first 3 games. And I get they were to bad teams. Understood. They have given up. They are trying at 70% effort. or 80% effort. And in the NFL, when the margins are so slim between the very best team and the very worst team, if you're a team given 85% effort and you're the 12th most talented roster, you're going to look like the 32nd best team. It's not workable.
Right. Well, and we know that like defensive tackle, like interior pass rush and linebackers have been really bad this year. So are we going in and trying to fix it by trading for a defensive tackle? Are we looking on other teams to try to get maybe an interior or inside linebacker? Or are we just kind of like seventh man up? Here we go.
Yeah, I think you're kind of seventh man up because sometimes you find something doing that. That's how you found Mike Purcell. That's how you found Alexander Johnson. And you got I know Mike Purcell hasn't been quite the same this year. Alexander Johnson's had some bad moments.
And he's hurt again. Apparently that finger injury, and he's had an MRI now. I mean,
Purcell, of course, hurt, and Johnson out for the season. So, of course, I just mean those guys were nobodies. They got a chance to start, and you found two quality starters that gave you tremendous value for a considerable amount of time. So at this point, I'm not making, maybe you're signing practice squad guys or different fringe roster guys from around the league that your pro scouting department has high grades on to hope that you can hit on something and find a building block piece. But I wouldn't be trading draft picks or trading players in hopes to try to like patch up the linebacking issue because, okay, why are you patching up the line? One, players that will be available aren't going to be guys with 4-year contracts that are solid quality starters. There's a reason they're being traded. Oftentimes, part of the reason they're being traded is because they don't have a lot of long-term control. So why are you trading for this player you're not going to have much control over when you're not trying to win right now? I think what they should do is look at players that can be a part of a team that's looking to win right now. Melvin Gordon's one. That would also help Javonte Williams get more touches, which is what I think he needs to realize his potential. But trade Melvin Gordon to a team and get a 5th or a 6th round pick. Like trade Melvin Gordon to the Niners. I don't know. That's a random team, but like I'm sure they can appreciate him. They need something to spur that run game. It's been weirdly bad for a Kyle Shanahan run game. And maybe you get a 5th, 6th round pick. And, I think a 5th round pick for Melvin Gordon is a lot better deal than a 5th round pick than Trinity Benson. And we were all hyped on that.
All right, Johnny, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and jump out. You go ahead and remove me so I'll hit the red button.
Oh, okay. Hey, thank you for jumping in and holding it down when we had some technical difficulty there, boss man. We appreciate it.
KB would totally trade for draft picks. Who are the must-keep players? I mean, I don't know if there is one. I think you got to keep one of the 2 receivers, Patrick or Sutton. Those guys, I don't think you can keep both, but one of those is must-keep. And this is strictly players with expiring contracts. And then I actually think Chubb could be worth it. The question with him has never been talent on the field. When healthy, when on the field, he's always performed at a high level.
Healthy.
Maybe not when healthy, and it is a big when or if or whatever. And he hasn't lived up to top 5 draft pick status. That can also be true. But you don't want Von Miller and him to both leave after this season. And Bradley Chubb, you can get him because of the injuries. You can get it. It's not going to cost $20 million annually.
Yeah.
And maybe if it's even on a franchise tag. So it's like a 1-year prove it deal. But you don't want to, like, edge is such an important position. And you've got 2, when healthy, quality starters at that position.
Yes.
You do not want both of those guys to leave. And then all of a sudden it's like, you thought the Broncos pass rush was bad now? Woof if you let those 2 guys go.
Yeah, terrible. I want to jump up here real quick to another question by KB82. What are your thoughts on the Broncos giving up 146 yards to a running back in his first career start? If I may field just a little bit on this one, I think we miss our linebackers. I think that's the first thing that I think is that we really miss. We definitely miss Josie Jewell and AJ Johnson. Like that cannot be understated. And then of course we take, and then we lose Micah Kaiser, and suddenly we have, I don't even remember who stepped in after Micah Kaiser went down.
Robinson played some, and then
Yeah.
Oh shoot, who was the other guy? I can't remember the other guy's name now, but
Isaiah and I were talking about this, this morning on the phone, was that plain and simple, they struggled. They struggled and they were so quick to try to rush for that B gap that it opened up in the A gap, or it opened up the other B gap, and the running back was able to course correct and just fly through our line. Honestly, the way that you can tell the inexperience there at that position right now, and our the linebackers that are in, Justin Sternad, God bless him. I think he's got great potential for the future. He's still developing, because if you really think about it, due to what happened to him last season, he's still kind of in a rookie season, so he's still learning. Given that, you saw that inexperience, and any running back, any running back in the NFL, I feel like if the linebackers are struggling to stuff those running lanes and stuff those gaps, they're going to find a way to get through them, and they're going to cut through our defensive line like a hot knife through butter. And that's exactly what he did. That's what I think. I think, it shows that we really miss our inside line, our inside linebacking and our, especially in the run game.
Losing Jewell and losing Johnson, that's a huge loss there. People have often criticized them for what they aren't bringing to the pass game, and it's easy to overlook what they bring to the run game. They bring a lot to the run game. So I think that's a large part of it. I don't want to discount that at all. However, I also think, again, going back to the coaching staff losing the team, that's a large part of it. It's cold. It's a short week. You're still sore from the Raiders game.
Yeah.
The writing's kind of on the wall with the 3 losses, and they're bad. And you as a player, you're in that locker room. You can feel the way things are sliding and shifting. And all of a sudden, you've got to go up to Cleveland where it's cold, it's windy, and you've got to go against that offensive line that's maybe the best in the league. They were down Jack Conklin, but they've still got Bitonio. They've still got J.C. Treader. They've still got Jedrick Wills. I'm spacing on their other guard right now. But they've got maulers. They've got absolute maulers up front. And I think
we are adding
top of all that, you have the first drive. Their first 4 carries were 15-yard run, or maybe not 15, but you gained 30 yards on the first 2 carries.
Someone say Drew Lock sucks. Sorry.
Hey!
What? No,
nobody asked you, Boggins.
No, sorry.
I thought I heard
Zach say.
Nobody asked you, Boggins. Okay.
Boggins from the mouths of babes.
Out of nowhere, coming out straight out of left field. Here comes Drew.
Oh my gosh!
On the first 4 carries,
crazy.
you have him gain. On the first 4 carries, you have him. First 2, you have him gain 30 yards. Third one is a 4-yard rushing touchdown. Probably didn't gain more because you're stopped by the end zone in terms of yardage. And then the very next run, they give it to a different tailback and they get 12 yards. So even if you were, you did have some fire in your belly to get up and stop the run, because that's not a fun job to do. There's a reason why offensive linemen like run blocking. It's because they can take it to the defense. This team was already lacking fire to stop the run, and then you open up the game like that, like just getting your butt handed to you. That's going to be an issue.
I mean, and I'll give kudos to what's his name, Johnson. What he accomplished. It was career star against any team in the NFL, and it's 42 yards on the ground. Or what was it? 143, I think. Right? 143.
146.
146. Okay, my bad. It's in the 140s.
How dare you get?
I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. He's always had little spurs of something, like when other backs have been down. But I mean, when you're behind Hunt and Chubb, I mean, but good for him.
You're not gonna get
good for him. I'm glad we could help. I'm glad we can.
Yeah, really, it builds his pedigree for his future. I mean, people are gonna look at that and they'll be like, "Hey, remember what he did to Denver in his first career start?" I mean, they'll remember that for a long time. By the way, Boggins, welcome. I had no idea you were going to be jumping on, so it's good to see you.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like things were happening, and I thought I'd join in on the fun. You know what I mean? I like a little shimmy, a little chaos. You know, in my day.
If you mean by things happening, you're talking about my ISP just completely crashing. Yeah. But,
okay. I don't know why I just went to IBS, but I was like worried about you for a second, and then I was less worried when you.
Hey, I'm not suffering from IBS.
That's good.
It is safe to go in the bathroom after me.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so real quick,
I do have a question to Zach though about
send it.
What's going on? Are you in a hacienda? What's that recess in the wall there?
Oh, I know. It's nice. Actually, I looked the wrong way because I'm not used to the camera flip. So that over there, that was funny. I'm at my parents' old property here in the mountains of Colorado. Actually, I got a beautiful view out here.
Where at? I'm from Longmont originally. So where at are you? Whereabouts are you at? That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
And we totally lost you. You muted. Hold on. Got it. Okay.
Little mouse house. This is my remote office.
That's awesome.
It was muted when I asked you. Where are you at? Like actually, is
Custer County? I don't know if people have heard of it. It's near Canyon City. It's about an hour and a half west of Pueblo. Roughly.
Okay, I know where that is.
Awesome. If you know where the sand dunes are, it's across the mountain range to the east of the sand dunes.
Yeah, I used to hunt. I used to come down from the Denver area to hunt the Christies down there, to turkey hunt in the Christies. So
it's a beautiful area.
It is a very beautiful area. So yeah, it's gorgeous there.
But what was
hacienda question? Yeah, what was the comment
about your hacienda there? Or? Oh, here we go. I want to bring this up. Tyra Shern. That's a new name to us. I don't recognize it. I don't know if you do, Boggins. I don't recognize Tyra in so Tyra, if you're still on, I pray welcome. It's good to see you. Here's to you. I always try to cheers to our new guests.
Yeah, cheers.
It's good to see you. Please.
That's actually,
there you go.
That would be my mom logging in on YouTube, watching me live in the other room.
That's your mom.
Tira. I know she's going to have a comment.
Tira Shern. Is it Shern?
Sweet name.
Shern, yes, absolutely.
I got it right. Okay. Tira, Zach's mom. If it's okay with you, Tira, we always give nicknames on Nothing Rhymes. So I'm going to go ahead and just call you Zach's mom from now on.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Just
the way they should be.
Zach's
known,
mom.
in my opinion.
Zach's mom, welcome to the show. It's nice to see you. Thank you for lending me your son for the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like what you see, become a member of the family like everybody else. Hit that subscribe button for us. That'd be great. We'd appreciate
Absolutely.
it. So she wants to know. Your mom wants to know why did it take so long for Vonda to get in the game? And I think that means before he got hurt.
Yeah, I think it's a fair question and one I don't have a great answer to. I think he should have been more impactful, especially because they were moving him around to try and get that good matchup, that favorable matchup. And that favorable matchup existed with Jack Conklin out there. I think it took a while for him to, with being moved around, with getting chipped by the tight end, which the Browns were also doing frequently. I think it took him a while to get into the rhythm, get into the flow of the game. But yeah, I think that was the issue there. And then it felt like the moment he did get into the flow of the game, he had that nasty injury, which thankfully seems to be nowhere near as serious as it looked. Because I was in a ooh.
Is this a sprain or is he fine? It's a sprain or is he fine?
We don't know, but at least it's not what it looked like because you saw.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, it looked like he tore his PCL. Yeah. The way he took that hit, it looked like he tore his PCL.
It looked real.
And I was like, everybody always hears about ACL tears. One of the ones you don't hear that often is the PCL tear, and that is just as bad, and in some cases, for some people, even worse. Yeah. And the way that leg bent in that, especially, I was sitting there thinking to myself, when they showed the replay on that, because I was like, oh yeah, he's got to be okay. I didn't see anything that bad happen. But when they went back in slow mo and you watch that leg bend in the middle, I was like, my grandmother back in Colorado. If she's watching this game right now, she just threw up.
We got grandmas, we got moms over here on MHRT. Come and join.
Listen, you cannot underestimate the fandom of my grandmother. Okay, like my grandfather. My grandfather is the guy that created, the me that is this, and my grandma was right there with him. So she, he's passed away, but she still 87. I think my grandma's 87 years old now. Dang. She still puts on the orange every Sunday and sits in front of that TV, and she's hollering and hooting at the TV just as much as anybody else. So
I'll tell you what, that injury, what I saw was closure. Because what it felt like you were kind of going through a bad breakup with your ex during that whole game. It was like you're just disappointed, and then like you see that happen to Vaughn, and you're just like, oh, it's over. It's really over.
God.
That's what it felt like. So I'm glad it's not quite over.
Yeah,
it just because last season we had all this hype and understandably so. And I just want to see him climb that sack leaderboard. And he got off to such a strong start early this season, and it slowed down. And with a lot of that is when the team's not trying, that coverage isn't holding for as long. There's not pressure coming from as many places as it otherwise would be. It's it's bad. It's bad. I want to see Vaughn rack those stats up, but now he's going to come back from, what's probably going to be I don't know, limiting injury. It probably to hurt your ability to rush the passer to come back from whatever that was. Man, and then the rest of the team has given up. It's just, I want to see him get so many sacks, and it's rough.
How we get to this point, like it's hard. It's hard for us as the fans to fathom, because it's easy for us to sit there and watch the game and say they should have done this, they should have done that. That's easy. We don't know. Okay. Some of us may have played, some of us may have lived that life before on a team or whatever, but sitting watching our team implode the way that it has, we can sit here all day long and we can say, this should have happened. You should have done this. You should have done that. It's not as simple as that. Mm-hmm. It's not. But at the same time, we have to hold the whole team accountable. Like me, for instance, I sit there and I want to say all day long, like, if I was on that team right now, I would still be playing with all the heart in the world and I wouldn't give up. But the fact is, when there's writing on the wall, and especially when those around you, because these guys, they're a brotherhood. I don't care what anybody says. If you've ever been on a team, at least a good team, or it's a brotherhood. And when those around you are down and out, when the esprit de corps is either collapsing or non-existent, no matter who you are, it's going to affect you. And you cannot just, you can't, and sitting here saying, because I have seen it all over Twitter. I've seen it on Reddit, everywhere. People being like, these guys need to step up and be pumped up and be excited, even if they know that it's not that simple. It's not that simple.
And it applies to fans too. Fans shouldn't have that mindset, because fans do it more than players, a lot more than players. If you've ever been to a sporting event in your life, you've probably felt the energy in the crowd change, especially if you've been to a Broncos game recently. Can start loud, and then Raiders. That opposing team gets, they get a big touchdown. It was on TV. It was on TV 2 weeks ago. Starts getting quiet. They get another touchdown, gets quiet. You get the boo birds out there. You see it in the stands. And it's not even controllable. It's not like the fans are like, I don't approve of how they're playing right now. I will withhold my cheers. You just feel the momentum shift, and you emotionally detach some. That's what's happening with these players right now.
Yeah, you saw it. Like, even just, I left your mom's comment up there this whole time. I just realized that
she deserves it.
Shout out.
She does. She created the Zach Segars, so she definitely deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, no, like you
Trial
saw it 2 weeks
fire.
ago. That's right. You saw it 2 weeks ago against the Raiders, like towards the fourth quarter. I'm in Tennessee, right? I'm not in Colorado anymore. I live in Tennessee. I live north of Nashville. Mm-hmm. Boggins is in Seattle, right, or in that area, right?
See.
See. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, C-Town. Anyway, so we weren't there or anything, but I can say watching the actual television broadcast towards the beginning of that fourth quarter, every time they zoomed on the crowd that at the beginning of the game had been on their feet and pounding balls and shouting and with their arms raised, were sitting in their seats.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said it right there. It's not exclusive to the fans. The players feel the same way. You see them on the bench, and when things are not going well, they cannot mask how they're feeling. They're human too. Like I feel like as a fan, I've always tried to be the optimist. Recently, the more and more I've been getting into doing what we do here, the more I'm feeling like, okay, well now I got to look at it from a different standpoint. The fan in me wants to be optimistic and be like, they'll turn this around. They'll do it. But at the same time, I also have to look at this subjectively and look at what we're seeing and be like, the odds of them turning this around right now, pretty darn low.
I mean, it's bad. I mean, it's hard to not say it's not. We knew that the next 5 games after the first 3 were going to be our tough ones. However, we were given plenty of opportunities to capitalize on that with the injuries that were happening and the coaching issues that were happening, and we did not capitalize on those. So it's just continues to be more and more evident that we are going to be changing coaches at the end of the season. I don't necessarily think Fangio is going anywhere until end of the season. Shermer, maybe. But it's just continually going down. But as a kind of an off-season simp, I am, when things start falling downhill, I'm just like, well, we could get this person. We could get.
I know we start now. It's time to start hyping up the 2022 Broncos. The 2022 Broncos with Russell Wilson under center, Mike McDaniel play calling, Evan Neal at right tackle. That's fun. I mean, kind of it will happen.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I love the draft. I absolutely love the draft. But the guy that I have to turn to for all of my information leading into the draft, that guy right there.
Oh, Boggins knows his stuff. And I think Boggins and I were on the same page, when we were wish casting on 2021 going, oh man, we could land Justin Fields, have a foundational building block for the next 10, 15 years. Did we do it? No, we didn't. We decided to see if Locke could beat out, I don't know, proverbial journeyman. The poster child of journeyman, and he couldn't do it. And so we got salty and decided to take it out on Teddy these last 4 weeks, and it's been a blast.
My fiance has never really seen me cry, but when she sat down for that one pick and saw me standing there like, oh my gosh, Justin Fields is still on the board. It's happening. And then they call. Listen, nothing against
Sertan's awesome.
Sertan's amazing. He is like Champ Bailey more and more every day. However, if I am to value, like if I am to go over positional value, it's not close. And
how many Super Bowls did Champ Bailey win?
Yeah, that's agreed. And so
how many Super Bowls did Darrelle Revis win? I mean, I think he won 1 or 2, and it was because he signed with Tom Brady. Yeah, popped aboard that ship. I
forgot he did that.
All right, so I mean, obviously you said that you would need to get out of here pretty quick, Zach. So I kind of want to pick your brain. I want to pick, it'll be me and Boggins for afterwards for a few minutes, but I want to pick your brain real quick. We talked about it. Boggins dropped out.
I was joking.
Oh, there you go.
You're a jerk, sir. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, brother. But anyway, no, I want to pick your brain about the Washington football team. I want to pick your brain about what we're looking at coming up. Just kind of give us a synopsis of what you foresee for the game and maybe, a score prediction, because that's kind of the thing. That's one of the things we do score predictions.
For sure. The Washington football team is a very vulnerable team. Now, the Broncos have just had their butts handed to them by 3 other very vulnerable teams, so I ain't feeling great. But Washington's a very vulnerable team. Their defense is the worst coached in the league. Which, hey, as a team with some bad coaching, Jack Del Rio's doing a laughable job. It looks like what Mike Nolan was doing with the Cowboys defense a season ago.
Honestly, I forgot that Jack Del Rio was still coaching in this league at one point.
Right?
You know, like
the super washed up. Honestly, it's part of the reason why I think Locke, who I stand by, he's a bad quarterback. But if you're going to play him, throw him in there this week. You'll have extra time to prepare. And Locke's the kind of guy who needs extra time to prepare. And also this Washington defense is so poorly coached. There's going to be blown coverages galore. Tons of deep shots are going to be available. So the opportunities there, and the offense goes without saying. That's not super exciting, though. Scott Turner does a good job helping that unit play above its head. Overall, though, these are 2 bottom 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10 teams in football. And, one of them has a head coach they like. Another one has a head coach they don't want to play for. And I would bet that the team with the head coach they like is going to be the one that wins. I think that applies for the rest of the games this season. I'll say right now, I think if they play bad opponents outside of maybe the Lions game, I would be surprised if the Broncos win another game with Vic Fangio as head coach. I don't think they'll win until they make a switch.
It's not that I want the Broncos. Yeah. Oh, wait, the what? The hot take.
There it is.
There you go. There's a hot take.
Come on.
No, I'm sorry. He didn't say hot take. You got to say hot take. I'm just kidding.
Hot take.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, there you go. Hot take. So anyway, I got to say it. I don't root for the Broncos to lose ever. I don't want that. Nobody wants that. Any true fan doesn't want to watch their team lose. I guess the only, but taking your prediction there into consideration, that does, that would put us into some pretty primo draft capital coming into the 2022 draft. Not that that's what I'm rooting for, but
certainly an argument for it. You could definitely make an argument for it.
Second round QB, baby. Let's do it.
A second round QB. No, let's not.
Well, the thing about second round quarterbacks is you have to give them 7 years because that makes sense. 7th round pick. I think the Broncos need to give Tyree Cleveland 10 years to develop into a quality wide receiver because he was a 7th round pick, so you knew he was a project.
Yeah,
that's what some of you sound like. All right, I'm gonna hop off now that I've alienated some of your audience.
That's okay, Zach.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, we have to bring Trask in because they had a connection in Florida. So we get. All right, bye, buddy.
All right, see y'all. Have a good show.
Hey, Zach. Hey, thank you. Hey, you mind giving us a quick because Boggins isn't going to do it with me at the end because I know Boggins. You mind giving me a mile high five, brother?
Of course.
All right, here we go. Mile high five. Thank you, Boggins.
Yeah,
I tutted.
Yeah.
Later, man.
See y'all. Have a good one.
Thanks, bud. It's good. All right. So, hey, Boggs, thanks for coming in, bud. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on with the internet in this area right now. I've literally got
mysterious thing, bro.
On my phone here. I literally have the because I rock Xfinity. I have the Xfinity app open, and they're having a lot of issues in the area. Hey, Xfinity is the fastest internet in my area, so
we have Xfinity. I get it.
But right now it's on the outage map, and we're having massive issues. Like it's going in and out and in and out all over the area. Yeah. So I'm not sure what's going on. But
no worries.
Thank you for jumping in, regardless.
Of course.
Well, actually, I was thinking about it. We very rarely have ever actually gotten to work, to do this together.
Let's banter. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's banter.
Let's go.
Hey,
I'm in
fine.
for it.
So, all right. So what was your biggest takes on this last game? Because obviously we all have our takes on all 4 of the last losses.
Yeah.
But what do you see as, besides the disconnect between the coaches and the locker room right now? What do you see as the biggest issues we're facing?
I think it was pretty dang evident that we could not stop the run to save our lives. That we are 6 deep in ILBs right now.
Oh, that's terrible.
That Purcell was not looking good as a run stuffer, and he also got injured, so that doesn't help. So I would say it wasn't looking good. They did exactly what the only like we were preparing so much for the pass just because they had Odell and Landry, who Odell is bad now. I can't tell.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's bad. I mean, he's still OBJ, but he was injured coming into this. He was injured coming into
catching things. Oh, loud noise.
Oh, there they go. There they go. Loud noises. Loud noises. Anyway, I gotta actually make that as a soundboard sound. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry about that. And then Landry got injured, but we were planning so much for the pass that I don't know. Yeah. We could not stop the run to save our lives.
Well, I mean, I said it. I don't know if you've actually, since I've started writing for that blog, that Denver Nosebleed blog. I don't know if you've actually read any of my stuff, but I said it a couple weeks ago. Is that it seems what Fangio and the coaching staff have done recently? Actually, I said it was last week. It was before the Raiders game.
Yeah,
is that repeatedly they're overcompensating. Repeatedly, they're game planning so hard for a single aspect of the game, for a single player or a single, in the Ravens, it was against Lamar, against the Steelers, it was about, stopping the run, but, all around, they have focused so hard on preparing for one single aspect that just like we have with our defense that was kicking butt the first 3 weeks, we've sacrificed what we're capable of in order to stop one thing, and we forget about the other. It's exactly what we've seen. It's pure overcompensation.
Absolutely. And I do really think the injuries are hurting that even more, because I mean, I was pounding the table out of like hopefulness for Sternad, just like, because he's more athletic than what we've had. But man, does that boy get put on skates. Like,
yes, he does.
Overcommits, and like it's just like he's all top half of his body, and he'll get tweaked out and he'll go down. So exactly. And it's rough to watch. It kind of makes me nervous for the future, since we will probably be losing Josie Jewell. We're probably losing. I mean, do you want to re-sign Alexander Johnson? He's getting a little over.
That's a tough question. He's getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
So to speak. But at the same time, he was on par to have a Pro Bowl season before he got injured.
I just don't want to pay him.
I don't either. It's the same argument I've made for Melvin Gordon.
And Baron Brandon can't stay healthy, and he's still got a lot of work to do because he was a raw prospect coming in.
Baron Browning is the new Jake Butt, in my opinion.
Oof, I don't know about that.
It's close. I'm just saying, so far, we drafted an injured player. Yeah. We knew he was injured when we drafted him. And thus far, he has, every time he's gotten healthy, he's gone, like, before we've even gotten to see him on the field, he's back down. It feels like, I mean, it hasn't gone that long, but it feels like Jake Butt all over again.
Absolutely.
Man, those pups of yours, brother.
Yeah, I know. They're great.
It's one good thing. It's one thing I can love about my dogs is unless something really, really raucous is going on, they're quiet. I love that about them. But don't get me wrong. I love dogs. Absolutely. I would spoil your dogs just because I love dogs that much. I'm going to pull up this comment by Kenny Booker. He says first 3 picks should be offensive line, and I'm going to disagree slightly.
First 3 picks should be offensive line.
I'm going to disagree. We need, and this is actually something that Mundungus and I were talking about several days ago, is that we need to draft interior defensive line, and we need to do it soon. We need a strong interior defensive line. Now that's of course assuming that our pass rush stays pretty much, we keep the status quo as far as our pass rush goes. But what we need someone that can penetrate in the interior defensive line. We need somebody that can collapse the pocket from the interior and push the quarterback into the waiting jaws of the edge rush, which we don't have. We haven't seen it at all. Now, don't get me wrong. Absolutely. Offensive line is a must. It has to happen because something's got to give there, man. We've struggled heavily on offensive line. But at the same time, I think we need an interior. I agree with Mundungus when he and I talked about this. Interior the importance.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet all my ducks on the draft as far as like filling holes. Like you never want to do that. You definitely want to worry about filling holes more in free agency because you should never be relying on a rookie to start. So
no,
I definitely it will be. This offseason will be the most interesting Broncos offseason in recent history, just because the ownership situation, the coaching situation. We don't know who's going to be quarterback. I doubt maybe none of these quarterbacks are going to be on the roster next year. So it's going to be a very, very, and then we have a ton of free agents. So,
yes,
but we also have a ton of cap space. So it's going to be very eventful. That's
what
are
we saying. I think right now we're sitting at what? Still 27 million, right around?
Yeah, something around there. And then there's going to be the TV contract bump. So there's going to be
That's right. I forgot about that.
Added on top of that. So for the next continue the rollover from that plus next year's increase. So it's going to be we're going to be looking pretty good. I mean, but we're also going to need it just to resign.
We're still second, I believe, in the NFL in cap space right now.
Yeah, second or first. I don't remember.
We were second. I think we actually might be. I think you're right. I think we might have moved up to first when who was ahead of us? I think was it the Cardinals?
I'm not sure. I haven't been checking recently because I'm not trying to get too excited. I'm trying to live in the moment right now before I become my off-season self. Before I get too excited.
It's the moment here. Here we go again. Wait, am I frozen? Am I good?
You're always good. Look at you.
Oh, well, thanks, bud.
Beard gloriousness. Almost as good as gosh, what was last night the running backs coach? I always forget his name. Did you see the picture of that guy?
Oh yeah, the older guy, gray beard.
Oh
Loved
yeah,
it. Loved it.
Spud, not Spud. I don't remember his name. But he's been around for a long time. But he's
he has
great.
Actually, someone hit me up on Twitter. I don't remember who it was, and I have to figure it out. I'm not going to search for it right now. But somebody told me if I was to change my name from Broncos Viking, I should go with ZZ Mountaintop.
Oh,
and I was like, I could dig that because
more like punny,
yeah, a
Broncos
little bit.
Viking
ZZ Mountaintop.
I thought Broncos Viking. Cool. It sounds like but I mean, it makes sense.
A Viking
now with George
fan?
Payton.
I know.
Yeah, makes more sense now with George Payton and like a team full of former Vikings. So it makes sense.
Actually, truly the reason is I'm just obsessed with Viking stuff. Like
I get it.
I love Viking culture. I love their history and all this other stuff. I love Viking stuff.
That's fair.
So that's truly like that. But I think I might actually consider changing my name to ZZ Mountaintop. Just because that fan hit the nail on the head. But anyway, back to the Broncos. I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent. That's what we do on the show. It's fun, and I've never gotten to interact with you this way, Boggins. I think the only other time we've actually really been on a show together was the time we tried to do the mobile show, when I was trying to drive from Missouri back to Tennessee, which was terrible.
That's true.
Then the post draft show, which was fun.
Yeah, that was. I mean,
it was
kind
fun,
of fun.
But that's it. You and I have never gotten
fun.
to sit and talk like this. So except we obviously we text. We all of us constantly. But this is fun as heck. So anyway,
man,
let's roll it forward a little bit.
Yeah,
I want to hear what you think going into the Washington football team. I always almost say their old name.
Yeah,
what you think we can expect. I mean, again, they're struggling
Rubies.
too.
That's one of the options? I like that one. Be the
Rubies.
Washington
I heard
Rubies.
it was going to be the Red Wolves. I heard it was going to be the Red Wolves.
No,
but
Rubies.
I've heard some other things. Rubies. Yeah. That'd be amazing.
As far as the I almost said it too. The Washington football team.
It's hard.
It is hard. They have a good front. I mean, they have a good pass rush. And am I confident currently? Ooh, that's a fun freeze. Okay, no, someone go back and screenshot that. That was amazing.
Did it freeze with the bottle flying?
Absolutely.
That's epic.
I am not too confident in our line against this pass rush. However, that's pretty much all they have. I think it's a good opportunity for us to get a win, but shoot, man. I've said that the past 3 weeks, and shoot, man,
we all have.
It hasn't looked good. So if Shermer isn't gone after this, I mean, isn't gone this week, and they somehow decide to continue to keep him through next week, if we lose, he's not going anywhere till the end of the season. Like, I don't know what else he could prove inefficient at, because it's, I think if we lose to the Washington football season, or the Washington football team, our season is just down the drain. Like, there's no confidence. I mean, we're gonna go in and play the Chargers, and then we're gonna go play the Chiefs two times, and gosh, man, it's gonna look really, and the Cowboys, and like, it's tough.
I keep trying to look back to what we felt at the beginning of the season when we were 0-0, but we'd won 3 preseason games. We felt good, and then even just a few weeks later, we're 3-0. We're technically 6-0, if you include the preseason.
Yeah,
we've seen nothing, and we felt good. I miss that feeling.
I will say though, this is when you know that you're a true fan, is when you go through these times and you can even talk crap about what your team is looking like, and you still absolutely love your team. I remember living in Seattle when we played the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and I was wearing my Broncos stuff, but then I was also wearing a couple Seahawks things to show support for the local team, because it was the first time in like forever, whatever.
Dare you, sir?
I was in a house that was full of Seahawk fans. And
I bet
after they got beat, I was trying to be gracious and like go around and like, yeah, good job, guys. And my buddy took my Broncos hat off of my head and threw it. That day,
you don't mess with the hat. You don't mess with the hat.
I haven't, like, I don't care about you guys. I was trying to be nice, and you took my Broncos hat and you threw it across the room. See, that's when I was like, there's nothing else. There is nothing else. I'm not gonna say that. The even when your team is in the dumps, you know that it affects you a certain way. You know you love that team. So
I'm not going to sit here and confirm or deny that somebody has once gotten punched out for knocking my hat off my head.
They deserved it.
But I'm going to say, but I'm also going to confirm that someone's gotten knocked out for knocking my hat off my head. So that guy's lucky that he didn't get knocked out.
Was it Munungus?
It was not. He's lucky.
Okay. Yeah.
That being said, I remember that because you're talking about being in Seattle. So at the time, I was still in the Army. So of course, we are interspersed with people from everywhere. Like everybody I'm serving with, we are from every corner of the country all at the same time. We're all living in Georgia, but we're all from everywhere. And I threw a Super Bowl 48 party at my house in Georgia on Fort Stewart. And I mean, my wife even dyed deviled eggs orange and blue. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. It was
a weird pause in that sentence, man.
Yeah,
you're like, my wife even died.
My wife even died. No. Anyway, she even died deviled eggs orange and blue. But anyway, I remember that, and I had a bunch of people over, and half of them were Seahawks fans.
Yeah,
half of us were Broncos fans, half of us were Seahawks fans. We were all together. And then we watched that happen, and I swear, I'm not going to lie to you. I was in my driveway double fisting bottles of Jack Daniels by the third quarter.
I get it.
But
I get it.
And to this day, that first snap, whenever people ask me what my least favorite memory is of the Broncos, that first snap of 48 remains ingrained as my worst memory.
We have a few. Yeah.
There's a few. There's a few. The last 4 weeks can definitely be counted towards that.
It's also fair.
Yeah. Now, granted, I'm going to say this: as bad as things have been the last 4 weeks, everybody, we are not yet at the Vance Joseph level. We haven't been there yet. We're on the way. But things aren't as bad.
I mean, we're pretty close.
I didn't say we're not close.
Okay.
We're still on the road. Okay. Like we're at the point where the kids are asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? We're like, soon. We'll be there when we get there.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, no, we're there.
I mean, we had a great week of practice though. But
that's important. Have you seen Fangio though in the pressers? Like, he does not seem the same. He seems like he seems defeated. He's very defeated, and it was interesting to see.
It's what happens when you lose your team.
It's what happens when your team has no faith in you. He finally gave her some responsibility to the coaches. Like, if you've noticed all of his, like a majority of his pressers, he always says "we" a lot, as in like the team, but never once has he been like, "That's on me," or "That's on," like the.
Well,
like,
Zach and I were talking about that.
Yeah,
early in the show.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I mean, I know he doesn't want to make himself look bad, and maybe he's known he's been on kind of the hot seat for a while.
Look, you already look bad. Like,
I don't
give it up.
I don't know if there's any way he can. I mean, outside of turning that completely around and getting to the playoffs, maybe. But John Fox got fired after going to a Super Bowl. So
he did, and it was. I mean, look, we're at this point. We're at a cross. That's where we are. We are at a crossroads right now. We are at a crossroads where we can either way we go right now, it's gonna all kind of lead in the same direction at this moment, and that it's a problem. It's a problem. I mean, look, you say it here. Munduga says when your team gives you heart palpitations, you know you're fanning properly. That's the truth, because I mean, last night. I mean, I'm sitting there. Last night during the Browns game, my wife, wanted to go to bed. She was tired. And I try to be a very good husband. And I went to bed with her. Granted, I turned the game on in our bedroom. And she's over here on my left side, passed the heck out. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, or no, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop it. I was shouting at the TV in whisper mode. But like, my heart was palpitating, and that's what this team still does to me, and it always will, because I'm sorry, I'm not trying to insult anybody who might be watching who currently says things, but I am so sick and tired of logging into social media and seeing people ask, which team should I root for now?
That's why I just don't follow
your team. I know, I can't stand it. It makes me sick. I'm like, you're not even a true fan. You are only a true fan stands by their team regardless of how they look.
Absolutely.
Period. I was born into this. Fan. Or even a Browns fan for up until the last few years.
Yeah. It's weird to say now, but yeah.
Look, Broncos country, we enjoyed almost 60 years of being, for the most part, a winning franchise. The sun will come out tomorrow, to borrow that, to quote a annoying little curly-headed redhead girl. The sun will come out tomorrow. Okay, we look bad now.
Yeah,
that's not something we can actually say as a franchise, for the majority of our existence as a whole. So buck up. Stop showing your belly and stick by your team. Stick by your team, because what was it? What is the saying? It's the darkness, or the night is darkest just before the dawn. So look, when you hit rock bottom, once you hit rock bottom, the only way you can go is up. So
absolutely.
We'll get there. We'll get back. We will come back, and we will be at a point again where we are walking all over the NFL. It just may not be right now. Learn some patience, everybody.
That's not a thing on Twitter.
Well, I mean, it's not a thing in this generation, but
okay.
Let's be fair.
Let's deep
dive. I mean, I'm just saying, rent a center. That's all I need. That's all I need to say.
Okay.
You don't have to save for anything anymore. Am I wrong? Anyway,
wasn't that layaway?
No, exactly. Exactly. I can pay for it later. I can have it now, but pay for it later. That's
yeah.
That's
For
the world we live in now. There you go. Fangio is worse than BJ, says Dave.
That's
Avatar since 79. So Avatar, you've got a 10-year leap on me. All right, because I was born in 89 and I came home in a Denver Broncos onesie from the hospital.
Wait, you were born when?
89.
We're the same age.
Are we? Well, there you go.
Interesting.
January?
April.
I'm older, just a little.
Yeah.
Few months. So there you go. So Avatar, you've got a 10-year leap on us, but that's because that's just because we didn't really have a choice of when we came into existence.
Yeah.
So Avatar said he was born in 71. So 8 years old, you became a Broncos fan. That's fantastic. When I was 8 years old, we won the Super Bowl, our first one, 97, 98. So I recall it. And in fact, that very worn looking Terrell Davis jersey back there I was wearing that day. So
let's just say that first Super Bowl for me impacted my life so much so that like I became a Broncos fan then, and I still make the exact wings that I had at that Super Bowl party from my mom's friend. I got that recipe and have made it every single year for the last 20 years? I don't know. Where are we at? I don't know. I can't do math. But yeah, that's impacted me a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway, you know what? It's that time. I hate to say it because I'm enjoying this conversation, but we are at 1 hour and 21 minutes, and my wife is going to start turning the lights out on me.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what she does when she's ready for me to get off. So anyway, it has been. Thank you, Boggins, for joining.
You're welcome.
For jumping in with me, and I hope we can do it again sometime for sure. Because it's been a blast having you on.
Absolutely.
Thank you, RW crew. Thank you, Broncos country, MHRT family, whichever moniker you want to go by tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight. It has been an absolute blast. Do not miss the rest of our shows on MHRT Network. Tuesdays, Broncos Talk, 7654, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch with a 6'10" Mexican and our Canadian brother, Richie Rich A. Then you got Thursday, the MHRT podcast, the flagship, Mundungus Creevy, Marcus Boggins, Mr. Boggins. I'm sorry, I said your first name. I hope you don't mind.
I don't care.
Mr. Boggins. You've got Glenn Mile High Fiber Hauser and a 6'10" Mexican on Thursdays. Also 7654 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Do not miss The Neighborhood, which is our pregame show going live approximately 1.5 hours before every single game. In addition, you can catch us, the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast, every Friday, 7654, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also, I'm going to go ahead and tout myself a little bit on this one.
Do it.
Jump on over to the Denver Nosebleeds or denvernosebleeds.com. You can read some articles that I myself have been authoring recently. I'm working on getting myself out there. I'm trying to get a job, trying to get hired by somebody, maybe somebody in the future. As a writer, I love writing and I'm pretty good at it. So jump on over denvernosebleeds.com, read, check out some of my articles. I promise that you will enjoy them thoroughly. We thank you for joining us. It's been a blast. We cannot wait to see, even when we've been losing the way we have, I still can't wait for next game day. 10 days from now, it's go time. All right.
Yeah, it's go time. We're gonna do it.
It's go time. DG King jumped in real quick. Hey DG, it's been a while since we've seen you. All it would have took was the globe.
Sure would have.
Thanks everybody who's been a part of this tonight. We thank you. We love you, and we cannot wait to see you on Sunday. No, sorry, Tuesday. Broncos talk, because the neighborhood won't be on this Sunday. I'm so used to that. There will be no neighborhood this Sunday because there is no game for the Broncos this Sunday. We have a mini bye week thanks to having me on Thursday Night Football. So we will see you Tuesday night for Broncos Talk, 7654, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. If you like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. And Boggins, I know you're not going to do it with me, but I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to get everybody to put their arms out because we need to do a big mile high five real quick. All right? Because we even when in our current situation, we still love our Broncos. Here we go. Mile high five. Wow, that is the best one Boggins has ever done, and I freaking love it. Thank you, Broncos country. We will see you Tuesday night for Broncos Talk. Mile high salute. Good night.